Good morning, I'm here today to bring you my Sew Hayley Jane unboxing ritual. These are always a bit of a surprise because I never really know when they're going to turn up at my door, and I'd kind of had a little bit of a warning because I've started following hashtags to do with these boxes, so I know people have had them already, but I was worried of a spoiler. But luckily the ones I'd seen, they'd been really sympathetic, and their main photo was the front of the box and you had to swipe across to get the contents. So luckily I didn't have anything sport for me. Normally I open these live in front of you. There's only one time I didn't know what the contents was, and that was because there was a massive delay because of the coronavirus, and Hayley actually did her unboxing, the girl who sends me the boxes, and basically I couldn't help myself and I watched a video, so I knew what was in there. And actually when I've watched all the videos back, I think that video was probably the best video that I've brought to you with the unboxing, because I knew a little bit about the contents. So I've kind of done the same. Hayley hasn't showed her box yet, but I've opened this morning. I just took a moment for myself and I sat and had a biscuit and a cuppa and I've had a look. And initially when I opened it I thought, oh, I shouldn't have done this, I should have done it live. But now I've had a little look through the book, I'm kind of glad, because normally when I do it I don't want to sit there reading the book because I say, oh, it's going to be boring for you, and I still agree with that. But if I've had a quick scan through, I can quickly tell you what's in the book, can't I? And I can explain things a bit more. So this is how the box comes, like this, and there's a sticker that you tear here, and when you first open your box, you see tissue paper, yellow tissue paper with a little sticker on it like this. So when I opened my box, the first thing that caught my eye was I'm normally looking for if there's something to eat in it, in all honesty, I'm ashamed to say, but it wasn't the first thing that caught my eye, and it was actually this print. Now I thought, oh look, what a fun print, and I didn't know anything about it until I went delving in, other than who it was by, and it's Ginger Noodles Designs, and I actually I looked her up, so I stopped doing what I was doing and I looked her up and I found her, and then I recognised her. I recognised her from Sew Hayley Jane's books. So, and then I later found out that this is screen printed, and I had a little feel, and you can feel the dried ink on there, and I was quite excited about that because, like, I don't know if I've shared anything about screen printing on my YouTube, but that's something else I do as well. I've got a number of screens. I make my own screens. I don't do the process where, at the moment anyway, where you put the solution on and you put it on the glass and you put the light and things on it to make a proper screen. It turns out I do a very similar thing to what this designer does, but I'll get to that when I get to it. So that's that. So it's like an ice cream sundae. So I had a look at the book. It's always a good idea to look at your book, and this one is the Knickerbocker Glory, June 2020, and that is the theme. So that obviously makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And I had a quick scan through. Now Hayley always gives a voucher once a month to somebody for doing their unboxing ritual, and actually that somebody in the last one I read was me. So I didn't, that's one of the things I missed out on, and doing it really live opening, because I didn't read it. I didn't realise until after. So yes, I was the winner. I think it was either the last one or the one before, but I haven't actually spent my voucher yet, because you win a voucher for the fold line, and there are where you can buy patterns, like PDF patterns and print patterns, and I actually tried to buy a pattern, and they haven't got it at the moment. So I'm going to keep having a look out, and I've put that I don't know if I'll get emails when they get it in, but I'm after that pattern. So actually, I don't know if anyone can help me. I could buy the pattern PDF and not print, but it wouldn't use the full £15 that I've won. So, and they also print patterns. So I'm wondering, could I spend the £10 to get the PDF out of my voucher, then go back and use the £5 left to go towards the pattern printing? So if anybody's experienced with the fold line, and if they've won a voucher and they've had to do a similar thing, will that credit stay on there if you only use some of it? So if you could answer, I'd be really appreciative of that. I know I could message them, but I don't like to hassle people if I can find out things myself, kind of thing, you know. So anyway, the first bit in it, it's an interview. Actually, she does tell you people who have the luxury box, because I have the middle box, the classic box, but the luxury box, they get a pattern, and Hayley does say what pattern they get, and the pattern that they get, there's an interview on the first bit from the designer. And actually, this was another thing that I did. I had a look at what the pattern the luxury people got, even though I don't get the pattern. But just because I don't get them in my box doesn't mean I can't go and buy the pattern if I really like it. So it's the Jasmine. I've took screenshots actually. Actually, I'll do it on here. It's a dress. Well, it's a dress and a top, the one I've found anyway, and it's really quite nice actually. I wonder if you can see it. It's like a dip. I'm going to hold it at that angle. It's basically a t-shirt. They look like grown on sleeves to me, and a princess seam, which is the two seams down here, and it's got a dropped hem. That's the top I can see here. There's a dress version, and that's really nice. What they've done there, they've done a stripy fabric, so the bit in the princess seam here, the stripes are going this way, and the bit on the outside, the stripes are going down. There's pockets, and where the princess seam comes down, there's two ties, and it comes around and ties at the back. And is there another version? Oh, and the other version is the dress is the same. The sleeves are quite baggy down to the wrist this time, and it's got a bit of like a gypsy skirt, a bit of I don't know, a ruffle. I think that's the correct term. A ruffle around the bottom, and that's the Jasmine. Well, in here it's Hayley has called it the Jasmine pattern by Durat. I'm terrible at pronouncing things. Right, I'll spell it. DHURATA, and her last name's Davis. So I don't want to say it wrong, but she just got that. But in here it's called the Jasmine Tee and Dress, and you can get it in digital form for £12.40 on here. So that's that. So obviously, if I'd have done this live, I wouldn't be telling you this. So I think that's why that's quite useful, because I've got to do a little bit of research, because, you know, I'm a bit nosy. Like, actually, if you hear anything weird, I've got Rafe, one of my dogs, in here today. So, and he's there licking something. I don't know, because I've given him treats in there before, so it's probably, like, you know, got a bit of flavour to the chair. So that does that. Then Hayley does a make of the month, and the make of the month is a lady called Gillian. She's on Instagram, and she's made a lovely dress. I don't know what the pattern is. I didn't look at it that closely, what the pattern was. But that fabric she's used there is one of the fabrics from Hayley's dresses. Hayley's boxes. And I received the blue and white version. But I will admit, I can't find it. I had a bit of an unfortunate incident, because I always wash and tumble dry, well, not tumble dry every fabric, but I do tumble dry the fabrics before I make something out of it. And that fabric, it didn't really like what I've done to it, and it was a little bit bobbly. Like, I've never had anything like that happen with my fabrics that I've had from Hayley before. And I contacted Hayley purely because I wanted her to warn other people, but and I wasn't after anything, but she actually sent me some replacement fabric. It's another fabric, it's not that one, but I can't actually find the stripy one anywhere. So if I find it, I will, even though it's gone a bit bobbly, I will make something out of it, but it won't be something amazing because obviously it looks, the way whatever I've done with it, I've made it look worn, and which is a shame really, isn't it? So anyway, but she's made a lovely dress, Gillian has. And then actually, Tamlin, I follow Tamlin now, and Tamlin follows me actually, and she's pregnant with the first baby. How exciting! And she's also used the same fabric, and she's made a lovely dress, and she's standing on the beach, and it's got a little tie top. And you know what? Hats off to her making all these things while she's pregnant, because I think I'd be thinking, I don't think I'll bother. I think I'll wait until after. I think she has got to that point now from what she's saying, but I think I'd have gave up a lot sooner. I kind of just put an elastic band on my jeans, because luckily for me the low-waisted was in when I was pregnant with my 3 boys, and so I just put elastic band on the bobble most of the time, you know. And late on I did have some comfy trousers. They were like a stretchy beige like needle cord, and you probably think, oh, that's disgusting, but I love them. I absolutely love them at the end. So yeah, I did actually say to her, she looks a lot more glamorous than I think I looked when I was pregnant. So, and how she's having a boy as well, so how exciting. So anyway, the next page now, this is Gemma. And what I found out, because I must admit, when I've been reading these books, I haven't been looking that closely into the people that much really, but I'm starting to notice they're the same people. And actually, Gemma, it says in here that Gemma does things for Hayley for the boxes, and actually it's Gemma who's screen printed this. And she has used the fabric that we received in our last box. Now, I've also used this fabric, but you haven't seen it yet. I've actually cut out, believe it or not, I've never made an Ogden cami, but I bought a box that was a kit with everything you needed to make the Ogden cami from Guthrie and Garney, and that arrived yesterday, but the fabric is going through the wash at the moment. So I decided, because I'd already pre-washed and dried this fabric, I've decided to make my toile in the Ogden cami. Now, if you don't know what a toile is a practice garment. Now, what I've done is I've made alterations to it already, because I've made clothes before. I kind of know the alterations that I need. The only thing I've done different on it, I know you should, this is what I normally do, but you shouldn't do this. I normally get my underbust measurement to get the overall body measurement, then I do a full bust adjustment on that. But you shouldn't really, you should do an over bust adjustment. So I've tried to be a good girl, and I've measured and done the over bust adjustment, over bust measurement, done the body side based on that, and then I've done a bust adjustment. But the dart looks a lot smaller than what I'm used to when I make clothes for myself, because there isn't such a difference between that measurement to my full bust measurement. But there is, if I measure under my bust there's a big measurement. That's why I get a big bust dart. So I've had a look. I've only just started. I've done all the stay stitching. I've put my darts in. Like the Ogden cami doesn't have a dart. I've put a dart in, and I've done a slight wedge back adjustment. I don't think it's good. I haven't done them as big as I normally do it, because the fabric's quite floaty. The last time I made a top, it was a stiffer fabric, so I made a bigger wedge at the back, and it was very obvious on the pattern, but you could hardly see it on the pattern this time because the wedge was so small. And what else? And I've shortened it by 4.5 inches, so it might not be any good. At the end of the day, it's a practice garment, but I've actually got, because you've got, look here, Gemma's made a jumpsuit, so you get loads, so I could have another go if it doesn't work out. So that's what's quite good now. I've had a look. I think this is my, I've counted up my these books, and this is my 14th, because I counted 13. So that's what's quite good now, because I've got a build up of those fabrics I've got each month. When I want to just have a bash at a pattern, a bit of a practice, I can. And I know that you should probably practice on something that isn't you know, wearable kind of thing. But sometimes you might make a practice garment and it might be wonderful, and then you can wear it, can't you? So I'm starting to do that a bit more. Sometimes I do make a toile on something that I'm never going to wear, but occasionally I just go for it. So look, because I know more about this book, this video is going to be longer, isn't it? Then Laura, and I've seen Laura in here a fair few times, and Laura has used the same fabric, and she has made a skirt with it. Like I would show you the fabric up close, just if you want to see what the fabric's like closer, go back to my previous one. But because it's all actually my stand is standing on my cut pieces of fabric that I've started sewing and things, so I don't want to disturb it actually. So anyway, oh, the next page is a subscriber profile, and this is Jenny, and she's also used the same fabric, and she's made a shorts jumpsuit, and she's also used that fabric, that jersey that I got very excited about, and I still haven't used it, but it's quite cozy, so I'll probably wait until the weather's, because it's the weather, I've been saying about, oh, the weather's got a bit cooler and the oven's been on in my last video. Well, the hot weather, it's back, isn't it? Back with a vengeance. So you know, the fans are on and everything, so there you go. So and then last, is that the last page? It's not, oh no, not the last page. Then the fold line, I think they do this every month. They do pattern picks and they do patterns that they've suggested here. And then the next one is an interview, and the interview is with Gemma, who's made this screen printed, and that's how I found out so much about her. And there's some of the things she screen printed here, and actually that's how I've done many screens when I've done them. I've designed them, and then I put them on paper, and then I've screen printed through them, and I've done that quite a few times actually. So so that's nice to see. And then the last page, Hayley talks about things she's been watching on Netflix and something she's been reading, and there's a crossword, and I've not heard of that actually. I've watched a number of things that Hayley has suggested, but all the things I'm watching at the moment I've never seen in Hayley's books actually, because Hayley's like younger than I am. So I've got my eldest son's 17, and he sees the programmes we're watching, and he says, "Mum, you're so old," and I just say, "Oh well, I am old compared to you," kind of thing. So yeah, so I've been watching loads of episodes. I'm on series 7 now. Don't laugh, Father Brown. I keep calling him Dr. Brown. I'm only in series 7 and I keep calling him Dr. Brown. Father Brown. And it's about this priest, and he's always like trying to fight. It's a bit like a detective thing. So he's a priest, but normally he gets to the bottom of things, and he's quite a character. And I really enjoyed it. I came across it when it was on the main TV on BBC One, and it was on series 3, so I watched a couple of them. I really liked them, so I had a look back, and I managed to get the old ones. So me and my husband have been watching them. And there's 8 series, but series 7 isn't on catch up on the Sky, so we've had to subscribe to this thing called BritBox for 1 month. It's free for a month. We're trying to watch all of series 7, and then we've got series 8 we can watch, and then, you know, I'll be sad when it's over actually. So I've really been doing that. And at lunchtime I watch Bargain Hunt. So yeah, I do watch that, and in the evenings I record Doctors on BBC One in the day, and I watch that in the evening. I do watch Manifest. I like that. It's kind of on weekly at the moment, the new series, but there is old series you can watch. And we do watch Emmerdale, and we've watched it for years, but I must admit, I've not been enjoying it at the moment. They've been doing these Corona ones where it's just one family or one house, days and days of work for Corona, and I must admit my mind is wandering. I might be looking on my phone or doing a bit of sewing or something, hand sewing. So yeah, those are the kind of things I'm watching at the moment, and you know, the odd other thing thrown in here and there, but yeah, there's loads of things I like. So anyway, the box, right, let's have a look. So the edible treat in it was 2 sweets today, and I will admit, because I was sitting there with my coffee and a biscuit, I ate them. I'm sorry about that. And it's really exciting. It's so exciting. Now, you get 4 fat quarters in the classic box that I receive. You get 3 in the mini and 5 in the luxury, but I get 4. And look at these. These are they're like basically sweets and ice creams, and all really, really fun colours. So have a look at those. How gorgeous are those? I'm absolutely delighted with those. So they're a lovely few fabrics to add to my stash. Oh, hello, Rafe. Have you come to say hello? Do you want a little treat, darling? There you go. I'll pick you out. You know, have you had enough now? It's probably not used to all these treats in one go. Right. There's a lovely, lovely pink trim. So I hope you can see that. It's a pom-pom trim basically. It's really soft. It's a lovely quality, and there's a tiny little pom-poms. So that's exciting. There's a zip. A nice zip, so if I need to put a zip in a garment, I generally, what I do is I dismantle these boxes and I just put them where I keep things. So my fat quarters will go with my fat quarters, my print will go on my notice board, my trims will go with my trims, my zips will go with my zips. You always get a coordinating thread, and this time it's white and it's a lovely quality Gutterman polyester, and that will go with my threads. And I got really excited about this. Now, I know not everybody's into pineapples, but I love pineapples. Absolutely love them. I love eating them. I love the look of them. I've got a tool that you screw down and it pulls it all out like a spiral. I've actually got fabrics, and I haven't made it yet, to make a stuffed pineapple. And my middle son, he is crazy for pineapples. So I am going to be making that pineapple for him soon. So. And he's got like pineapple t-shirts, so I can't wait to show him this. I haven't showed him yet, but it's pineapple fabric and it's a cotton poplin. I know this because I've already read it in the book, so I'm not sure what I'm going to make with it yet. Maybe a dress. It'd be fun, wouldn't it? A really fun summer dress. But yeah, it's just so exciting. I just feel, gosh, at the moment I just want to make everything, because I do make a lot of things that aren't clothes as well, and there's all these things that I want to make that aren't clothes, and all these clothes I want to make. So but as you may have seen if you follow me on my social media, I'm at Claire Who Makes Things with underscores underneath. I'm sewing literally every day. You know, okay, there might be a day that I can't or something, but really with lockdown it's quite kind of helped me, because I haven't got to do school runs, been doing less grocery shopping, less nipping out to coffee shops and things like that. So actually it is giving me a bit more time, actually, even with the homeschooling. But the age that my children are, they can get on and do things themselves, because my youngest is 13, my middle one's 15, and I homeschool him anyway. So it's lots of fun, lots of sewing. So hopefully I'll have more. I'll definitely, if you watch my other videos that are not these unboxing rituals, I will be showing you my Ogden cami that I've made, all well and good, in my next video. So I'm going to try and bring you a video a little bit quicker, because I do normally like bring Rafe in with me, but because I've left my videos a bit long, I've had so much to show my viewers, it's just been a bit too much having the dog as well to be able to give him some time, and I've had just stuff everywhere. So actually I thought I'm going to bring him in today, because it'd be a bit more manageable if he wants a little bit of attention and to come and sit with me, and I thought I'd be able to do it. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing my unboxing unboxing ritual, yeah, unboxing ritual, and I hope you enjoyed that extra information that I was able to give you this time. Or did it bore you to tears, and did you just want to see the stuff in the box and not hear about the book? But I did quite enjoy being a bit more knowledgeable and being able to tell you a little bit more, like what the fabric is and why those things are in there. So yeah, I've quite enjoyed doing it that way, so I hope you have too. I'm just looking for my remote control so I can stop the video so it looks a bit more professional, but you know what, I can't see it, so I'm going to have to do it like this. So thank you so much for watching, and no doubt I'll be bringing you a video soon to show you the things I've been making since my last one. So thank you for watching. Bye.